Howdy y'all, Fuzzy Biker over here at Les Hills Harley-Davidson in southwest Iowa, and look what they have laid out for us today. An absolutely gorgeous Harley-Davidson Nightster. Let's run through the numbers real quick on this hot rod. 59.5 cubic inches, that's about 975 cubic centimeters, 12-to-1 compression, 90 horsepower, 70 foot-pounds of torque. That's 95 newton meters. 6-speed transmission, 41 millimeter dual bending valve front forks. Seat height is 27.1 inches. That's 688 millimeters. Wheelbase, this is kind of interesting, 61.3 inches. That's 1,557 millimeters. Check that out. Ground clearance is about 4.5 inches, 114 millimeters. Fuel tank, 3.1 gallons. That's about 11.7 liters. Here's a good one. Here's the number we all want to know, the magic number. 481 pounds. That's pretty darn light by any standard, and by Harley-Davidson standard, that's just amazing. That is 218 kilograms. All the lighting on this is LED. By God, it looks like it. Check out these taillights. The taillights, the brake lights, the blinkers are all in that housing there. Hey, let me get some gear on and we will take this hot rod for a ride. Wahoo! I like that. So looking at the gauge here, this is a 4-inch TFT, speedometer in the center, gear indicator right there, tachometer in the perimeter, clock, fuel gauge. I'm sure there's more. This bike does have traction control. I think you have to go to college to learn how to use all these buttons on here. We'll go through that when we get back. Well, let's go see what this thing's about. It's got a 6-speed transmission. Yeah, pretty good handling motorcycle, I'd say. Hey, if you all are in the market for a brand new or used Harley-Davidson, get yourself down here to Les Hills Harley-Davidson in southwest Iowa. Those guys and gals can help you out. Tell them Fuzzy Biker sent you. Wahoo! 90 horsepower. That's quite a bit of power for a bike that weighs 481 pounds, wet. I'd say she picks up pretty good. What a hoot, what a hoot. Boy, I love that. I love that TFT. That is amazing. You know, I know this road, it's pretty bumpy. This bike is actually doing it pretty darn well. I like the sound. Can y'all hear that? It's very different for a Harley. It's a unique sound. It's definitely a it's a sound of its own, I'll say that. It feels very light. I like the way it feels. I think that little S stands for sport mode. I'm sure there's a mode button here somewhere. We'll look for that when we get back. So looking up here, flash to pass and high-lows, cruise control, information button, heated grips, kind of a joystick pad here, a home button, horn, blinkers, standard regular, kind of irregular blinkers for a Harley, but there they are. On this side we've got the mode button, kill switch, start switch, you push down to start it. Another pad there, and the track control button here, plus a voice button. Very interesting. I like this. That's very interesting too. Very unique for a Harley-Davidson again. Bar end mirrors. Seating position is interesting. I'm actually leaning forward at the bars. My back is forward. For my legs, my hips and my knees seem about the same, but my feet feel like they are even with or behind my knees. Very different feeling clutch. Very fast moving truck there. Very different feeling clutch for a Harley-Davidson. Boy, it really pops. This thing moves. I like that a lot. At 60 and 6 gear, we're talking about 3,200. Not too bad. Rolling down the 4 lanes, you're definitely in the wind. I think it's pretty comfortable. That wheelbase is helping with the ride. This clutch is very different for a Harley-Davidson. If you're used to a Harley clutch, you'll have to get used to this one. Yeah, this thing jumps. This is a powerhouse. That 90 horsepower really does something, especially when the R's climb. Handling is superb. It's very light feeling handling wise. Probably the lightest feeling Harley I've been on. Look at the colors of the leaves. We're in fall here in Iowa right now. This is Harley Road Run, so when you get yourself down to Lust Hills Harley-Davidson, have them point you to this road, Harley Road. Get yourself a test drive on one of these. What a beauty. Transmission is a short shifter that goes in and out of gear very easily. It doesn't have that traditional Harley clunk. It's more of a slips into the next gear. Not a soft slip. It's a very positive feeling shift, but it's definitely different. I would like to know what's out there for aftermarket products for this motorcycle. There's a lot of potential here. Look at the golden colors of this valley right through here. Isn't that just gorgeous? I like it. This is what motorcycling is all about to a guy like me. Curvy roads and beautiful scenery. Wahoo! The transmission is excellent. The transmission is definitely, it's a sports bike transmission for sure. And the turn. Very good. Very good indeed. All right, let's try the brakes out. Not too darn bad. It's got a single floating disc in the front with a Brembo 4-piston caliper. In the back, it's got a single piston caliper, I believe, on a fixed disc. Well, let's take a look at that when we get back. Works very well. Wow, this thing pops. If you're looking for pure performance, this has got to be it. This one feels so light. I mean, this is a real good handling motorcycle. You know, it's got a 27.1-inch seat, I believe. I think that's 688 millimeters. And it just feels fabulous. You know, I feel like I'm in a very good spot. I am leaning forward. It has definitely got the little bit of a sport vibe going on there. It's an aggressive motorcycle for sure. I'm happy the bars are up this high, because any lower and I'd be, you know, crouched. Once again, the motorcycle gods have smiled down on Harley. This thing's a real monster. I love it. I could live with this one. I really could. I know I say that about all of them, but this is a real sport bike. This one is a get out and tear it up bike for sure. It's kind of a single purpose bike in that sense. Well, let's see what we can do here. She gets right up there. Plenty of power. This thing rockets. I just realized traction control is off. Ha 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 ha! What a hoot! This motorcycle is no toy. This is a serious piece of surgical equipment. This thing not only sings, it dances. I mean, this is a real, in the right hands, this machine could cut really bad. It's a real performer. I am incredibly impressed with this motorcycle. She just picks up like mad. Very light feeling, excellent handling. This would tear a city apart. You could just kill with this thing. It's just an amazing handling bike. And the power, this is the future of V-twin power right here. Let's talk about handling. In the garage, it's a breeze. 480 pounds, no problem. I think that's 213 kilograms. Push this around with ease. Very low center of gravity. A little bit of a wheelbase, but nothing too bad. You know, I like that a lot. And a very low motorcycle. On the in the parking lots and the around town, not an issue at all. This thing handles incredibly well. You know, it'll do it just fine. On the 2-lane blacktops, this thing would just tear up the twisties like through Lust Hills. We got a whole mess of very good twisty roads through there, and this thing would just do it without any. It would make it enjoyable. Just an absolute hoot. Very fun motorcycle to ride. You got to get yourself down here and try one. Lust Hills, go to lusthills.com, get some information. As far as the interstate goes, well, I didn't drive it on the interstate. I did take it down the 4 lanes. You are in the wind. There is no wind protection, but it is comfortable. And it was not trying. It had plenty of power to do that. So I'm very impressed in that sense. And it does have cruise control. Hey, if y'all are in the market for a new or used Harley-Davidson, get yourself down here to Lust Hills Harley-Davidson in southwest Iowa. They've got about 100 bikes in that building right there. And another 100 bikes in this building around the corner. They call it the Toy Box. Check it out. The Toy Box. You know, after riding this hot rod, I think I'm growing fond of that sound. This has really got a interesting sound. I like this a lot. This has really got my attention. What a beautiful piece of machinery. Absolutely gorgeous bike. This is a real piece of equipment here. This is not a bike to be trifled with. You need to ride one of these. If you're a performance motorcycle enthusiast, you really need to ride one of these. It's got great handling, loads of power. This 975 puts out 90 horsepower, but the torque is right down there at the bottom. What did I say, 70 foot-pounds of torque? That's about 95 newton meters. I'm just very impressed with this engine. You know, it's overhead cams with variable timing, and I think what they can do with that variable timing is they can make sure you're always in the torque curve with this thing. Fuel injected, of course, but just incredibly impressed with this thing. Really, really a piece of art and of an engine. What a piece of machinery it is. You know, and then jumping over here, the 6-speed transmission, you know, what a machine that is. You know, this thing was such a good shifting, you know, it's art. It's just art. Harley has done really well with this. I am incredibly impressed with this. You know, by the way, this is not the gas tank. The gas tank is actually down here. Anyway, what a machine, you know. And I think this is ripe for the aftermarket. They're already starting to do it, but there's just going to be like pipes. There's got to be an incredible pipe out there. They could use a Harley sounding pipe. Brembo single pot, single piston caliper on the rear, and that's a fixed disc on the rear. Let's jump up here and take a look at this brake, because the brakes are actually very, very good. You know, this is a Brembo. I don't know what size that is. It looks, if I had to guess, I'd say 320 millimeters, but 4-piston caliper. You know, just an incredible machine. Look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? I am so impressed with this right now. I just can't even, from a performance point of view, from a rider's point of view, this is art. This is rolling art. Let's talk about some of the stuff up here. I did not point out, for instance, adjustable clutch lever. You can adjust throw right here by turning this knob. Adjustable brake lever. Brembo master cylinder for the front brake. All kinds of goodies, you know. I don't even know what all that's for. But, you know, from a motorcyclist, my first joy in motorcycle riding is the actual event of riding a motorcycle. That's what I ride for. I love the way it feels. I love riding both inside the motorcycle, in other words, enjoying the sport that the bike can give me, and I love the scenery that I get to enjoy while I'm viewing the bike, you know, from the bike, that I can view from the bike. In other words, what's outside the motorcycle. But this thing is a real, I'm really impressed with this. I think if you are a sports bike guy, you really owe it to yourself to get down and try one of these out. It's going to be different than what you're used to, but it's an incredible feeling, incredibly good handling motorcycle. I love the large Harleys. I just love them. They're beautiful and they're going to be around forever. But this is a sports bike, and I love the way these things perform. Hey, if y'all are in the market for something like this, or, you know, a newer used Harley-Davidson of any sort, get yourself down here to the beautiful Lust Hills in southwest Iowa. This is exit 35 on Interstate 29. Get yourself down here to Lust Hills Harley-Davidson. They've got a bike like this waiting for you in there. They've got, like I said, over 100 bikes in this room, this building here. Probably another 100 in that building over yonder. But these guys can help you out. And it's fall. It's a great time to ride your motorcycle down to Lust Hills Harley-Davidson. LustHillsHD.com. Now get yourselves down here. I'm going to go ride my bike. Y'all do the same. Life is good. Wahoo. I like it already.